All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, KAKADASH. Double honors to the Apostles of Israel, aka the Apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, well, it's a couple of things unpacked with this Iran thing. And one thing, I don't know if a brother posted this or I've seen this on a Google search, but one of the articles, it's from an Iranian news outlet, and it's from one day ago, which is yesterday. It says, Iran boasts of nuclear advances, calls building an atomic bomb a simple task. I'm going to click on that. And there's two articles, and there's another one where it says that Iran says it halted contact with U.S. negotiator Witkoff months ago. So you can see what time we are as far as, like, how these Persians are feeling about the Babylonians, the Chaldeans, if you will. How they feeling about actually the daughter of Babylon, which is America. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord said that, and with the whole thing with Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, where it talks about the Persians, talks about Gog and Magog, which is modern day the Russian land of Russia. So all these things are playing out as far as the prophecy said and nothing else. And that's what people read, and that's what people got to understand. Like, these things are playing out according to prophecy, biblical prophecy, because this is the only book that has the actual prophecy and the telling before these events happen, written many, many years ago. So I'm going to go to this article, and I got a couple articles, and Lord willing to be edifying. You also have where Trump and Bibi are supposed to be meeting up, allegedly. They're supposed to be meeting up to discuss another possible military action against Iran. So I find it real ironic that they said that, and then now Iran talk about they boasting of their nuclear advances. So, and remember, we as the people, as the masses, we're always like a few steps behind. So we're going to discuss and take what they give us sometimes with face value. But in my mind, I always take it as always worse than what they're saying. So this is from the Iran International. So this is from December 20th. So it says, Iran boasts of nuclear advances, calls building an atomic bomb a simple task. It said the spokesman for Iran's Atomic Energy Organization said the country has made significant nuclear advances and that developing an atomic bomb will be very easy if Tehran chose to pursue it. So I guess they're trying to imply that they're not pursuing it, but they're basically saying that they could if they wanted to, easily. And we all know, according to prophecy, that they are going to pursue it, and they do want to pursue it. Or at least a little bit more than they let on. They said the simplest task is to build a nuclear bomb because it does not need fuel control and explodes at once. But Barus Kamalavandi said on Saturday, which was yesterday, calling it much simpler than developing a nuclear power plant. It says building a nuclear power plant which needs control of fuel and reaction levels is difficult and technical. Kamalavandi said Iran has reached the edge of power in the nuclear field and there's no unknown issue left for us. So they basically said they flexing. They flexing. And that's probably why Bibi and Trump about to have a meeting discussing further military actions against Iran. Because they talking like this. This is their own meeting. This is not something that they're telling the public. They're not telling the Americans this. But they have these secret meetings and they talk about these things. And then we just see the aftermath. We see that, they attacked them or they did this. But you got to understand, this is a whole build-up to what's going on. It says before a 12-day war in June that culminated in U.S. airstrikes on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities and paused any uranium enrichment in Iran, the country was enriching uranium to near weapons-grade purity levels. While Tehran denies seeking a nuclear weapon, the United States and Western countries want Iran to end uranium enrichment, arguing that enrichment beyond 20% has no civilian purpose. But who are you to tell what they want to do? Why don't y'all all stop enriching uranium or nuclear capabilities? Why you jocking them so hard? Because why? They so close to the land of Israel, and Amalek is scared of it. Because America is nowhere near there for them to be investing so much in their nuclear program. Now, granted, they could put nuclear stuff in different locations around the earth, but if you leave them alone, they're basically saying that we ain't gonna be doing nothing. But they continue to bother them. Because why? It's prophecy. It's the Lord stirring up the pot. The Lord said what? He mustered the host of the battle. So they may think they don't want to go to war, but they're definitely going to go to war. Thus saith YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. It said the UN nuclear watchdog has resumed inspection activities in Iran, but remains unable to access several of the country's most sensitive nuclear sites following June strikes. International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, Director General Rafael Grossi said last week, that sounds like a rat. It says, we were only allowed to access sites that were not hit, he said, calling the resumption important but insufficient. Grossi said Iran cannot unilaterally decide whether inspectors may enter the damaged facilities. If they say it is unsafe and inspectors cannot go there, then inspectors must be allowed to confirm that is indeed the case. Grossi said in an interview with Russian state media, that determination has to be made by the agency. So they basically say, we decide. They're saying that we decide if it's unsafe or not. And this is the guy. Look at this guy. Look like a straight Amalekite. That's right. That's the guy from the IAEA. That's him. It says Kamavandi, however, says the UN nuclear watchdog's requests are unreasonable. The agency's insistence that access and inspections take place strictly under a safeguards agreement written for non-war conditions is unreasonable, he said. Especially if they've already been attacked. I would say, yo, man, I can't come here at all. But, it is what it is. It said the agency's insistence that access and inspections take place strictly under a safeguards agreement written for non-war conditions is unreasonable, he said. Kamavandi said Iran believes the current safeguards framework cannot be applied in the same way after military attack. Exactly. We've already been attacked. So in hindsight, fuck your rules. It said this framework was written for ordinary conditions, he said. When nuclear facilities and materials are damaged in a military attack, the conditions are different. He said granting access to Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan while security threats persist could endanger Iran, and added that Tehran is considering other ways to account for nuclear material without inspectors entering the sites. The standoff follows the June war that began with Amalekite strikes on June 13th on nuclear facilities, senior military figures and nuclear scientists, followed by the U.S. attacks on June 22nd. It says Grossi said that 3 sites at Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan bombed by the U.S. are central to uranium processing, conversion, and enrichment, but stressed that Iran's nuclear program extends well beyond them. Iran has much more than these 3 facilities, he said. It has a very developed nuclear program with research activities and many other sites. He cited Iran's operating a nuclear power plant at Bushehr and plans for additional reactors, including projects with Russia adding. Work continues in all these areas. The IAEA has long sought answers from Iran over past nuclear activities and the whereabouts of undeclared nuclear material, issues Grossi has said cannot be resolved without access to relevant sites. But they're basically saying, man, fuck you, man. They saying, yeah, after we've been attacked, the circumstances change. And I agree with that. Like, yo, how y'all attacked us? You down with the people that attacked us, and now you think we supposed to just let y'all in and like it's business as usual? After you attacked us, you had people that I don't know if there were many casualties, but you had Amalek, them small heads, they done killed a few Iranians already. Iranian scientists and whatnot, nuclear scientists, nuclear physicists, whatever you call them, whatever their titles is. So it's not just, so our blood has already been shed. So there's another article. It's from the same source, Iran International. It says Iran, and it's from 13 hours ago, it says Iran says it halted contacts with U.S. negotiator Witkoff months ago. Months ago. So months ago was June. I read the article. I didn't read this article and see when it stopped. It says Iran has halted contacts with Steve Witkoff, the United States senior negotiator, for several months. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said while signaling that Tehran remains open to a negotiated agreement it describes as fair and balanced. Araghchi said he had previously been in contact with Witkoff over Iran's nuclear program, but that Tehran decided months ago to suspend that channel. I've been in contact with Steve Witkoff, but not in recent days, because for several months we decided to stop these contacts. So I'm pretty sure it's after they were attacked. It's an Arjaki said in an interview with Romanian media during a visit to Moscow. He said Iran and the United States had held 5 rounds of talks and scheduled a 6th for June 15th, but that process was disrupted days earlier by Israeli strikes on Iran, followed by U.S. involvement. So you talk about you attack someone, and then you want to talk about negotiation and talks? In my opinion, I feel, for an Iran's perspective, the talks is over. They don't need to talk. You've already attacked us. You've already attacked us. You and America. Or America and the fucking small hats. You've already attacked Iran on numerous occasions already. He said we haven't set a 6th round for June 15th, but we had even set a 6th round for June 15th, but 2 days before that, the small hats attacked us. This attack was unprovoked and illegal, and the United States then joined it, he said. So why does she need to talk to y'all? Y'all wasn't talking. It says, whatever fucking name it said, Iran remained willing to reach an agreement through diplomacy, but rejected what he described as imposed terms. We are ready for a fair and balanced agreement achieved through negotiation, but we are not ready to accept dictates, he said. He said Tehran was prepared to provide full assurances that its nuclear program is peaceful, as it did under the 2015 nuclear deal known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, which placed limits on Iran's nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. We are ready to give full assurances that our program is peaceful and will remain peaceful forever. That's a lie. This is exactly what we did in 2015, and it worked. Whatever the fuck his name was said. It says Araghchi criticized the International Atomic Energy Agency for failing to condemn attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities that he said were peaceful and operating under international safeguards. It is deeply regrettable that the agency and its director general did not condemn the attack on a peaceful nuclear facility that was under IAEA safeguards, he said. He said Iran remained committed to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and willing to cooperate with the IAEA, but questioned how the inspections should be conducted at sites that have been attacked. So you want to negotiate, but they're saying that we've already been attacked on something that was we said was peaceful, and you had no proof of otherwise. And you're not doing nothing against America or the small hats. That's pretty much it. So I got. Oh, hold up. Found something. That's the spirit. So it says Israel to brief Trump on possible Iran strikes. And it's from December 20th as well. December 20th. Yesterday. Look at that. Boom. This is actually the third topic I want to get into. So it says Amalekite officials are preparing to brief Donald Trump on options for possible new military strikes on Iran, citing concerns that Tehran is expanding its ballistic missile program, NBC News reported on Saturday. It said they're preparing to make the case during an upcoming meeting with Trump that it poses a new threat, NBC News said, citing a person with direct knowledge of the plans and 4 former U.S. officials briefed on the matter. The Amalekite officials believe Iran is rebuilding facilities linked to ballistic missile production and repairing air defenses damaged in earlier strikes, which they view as more urgent than nuclear enrichment efforts, NBC reported. The nuclear weapons program is very concerning. There's an attempt to reconstitute. It's not that immediate. One person familiar with the plan told NBC, referring to Iran's nuclear facilities. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to raise the issue when he meets Trump later this month. So this month is almost over, including options for U.S. support or participation in any future action, the report said. So they talk about attacking these motherfuckers again. And Lord willing, they do attack them again, and soon. Because now you have all the shit going on with the digital ID, all these smart city talks, all this micro CIP talks. So you have these prophecies that's very, very aligned towards the actual end. Because now we have what? Digital ID, implantable devices, and then nuclear missiles, which go hand in hand with each other. It says Trump's warning has repeatedly said U.S. strikes in June destroy Iran's nuclear capabilities and warned Tehran against trying to rebuild. If they do want to come back without a deal, they were going to obliterate that one too. Trump said earlier this month, we could knock out their missiles very quickly. A White House spokesperson said the International Atomic Energy Agency and Iran had corroborated the U.S. assessment that the strikes totally obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities. It says Israel launched strikes on Iran on June 13th, targeting nuclear facilities, senior military figures, and scientists, accusing Tehran of pursuing a covert nuclear weapons program. The U.S. followed with strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities on June 22nd, which is what? Today's the 21st, so that's what? What, like 6 months ago? 5-6 months ago? It says Iran, which denied the accusation, responded with missile attacks, including on a U.S. base in Qatar. The episode comes as the IAEA presses Iran for access to damaged nuclear sites at Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan, saying it must decide whether the sites are inaccessible, a demand Tehran has rejected as unreasonable. So they're the impasse still. They're not giving up the goods for the IAEA. And who is one of Iran's allies? Russia. Now, let's go to the scripture real quick. Because you had Iran. Oops. Hold up. Oops. You had Iran. What I was about to say, you had Iran and Russia. Yeah, Russia and Iran, which were the Persians and the Gog and Magog, right? Ezekiel 38th chapter coming to pass. So now you had another article. It says Iran dispatches task groups to South Africa as it expands maritime presence. Now remember, what's important about that is, let's go to Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel 38. Damn, that's all. Where you at? So this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1, and I'm going to read this in the NLT. It says, this is another message that came to me from the Lord. Son of man, turn and face Gog of the land of Magog, the prince who rules over the nations of Meshech and Tubal, which are provinces and the Magogs and Gog, and prophesy against him. Give him this message from the sovereign Lord, Gog, I'm your enemy. So it's not like the Lord is dealing with Russia on a level as he's dealing with like a chosen nation, but he's using them to go against what? The whore, which is America, because they're the Edomites. They're like the America on that side of the earth. So we're giving that message. So it said, verse 4 says, I will turn you around and put hooks in your jaws to lead you out with your whole army, your horses and charioteers in full armor, and a great horde armed with shields and swords. Now see, this article that says in South Africa is what? South Africa is a BRICS nation, which means that's part of the whole company. Because what you read in the King James, what does it say? We read that in the King James, Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 4, and it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Now, what are those modern day swords? Those missiles. And it said, what? A great company. So not just Russia. Russia has backup. Russia has assistance. Russia has allies. And they're all coming together against why? NATO and the fucking America. Verse 5 of Ezekiel chapter 38, and it says, Persia, which are the Iranians, Ethiopia, which are the Hamites, Libya, which you got some Ishmael and Ham in that land, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. We read that in the NLT. It says, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya will join you too, with all their weapons. So Iran got the weapons, Russia got the weapons. What's it? Ethiopia? I'm pretty sure they got something going on. Libya, they got something going on. I don't know if they have like the amount as like, you know what I'm saying, but you got to remember the great company that's not mentioned. Because who else is with Russia? China, Moab. And remember, this is going to be a World War III where the Lord said the day of the Lord is upon all the heathen. But in that region right now, you have Iran in the small hats because why? It's part of the Holy Land. It's part of the Holy Land area in the region. And remember, those Iranians, those Pakistani, Indians, those are the Persians, but mainly those Persians in Iran. Because I don't hear them talk about like I don't hear them talk about Pakistan's nuclear program. I'm talking about the small hats and the fucking BBs. It says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters and all his bands and many people with thee. And I believe Gomer was a Japhite, part of the Japhites. I don't know, as of right now, I don't know that any Japhite country that's like heavily involved with his nuclear stuff, because it's something I want to bring out in the Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, where it talks about the Medes. But you know how the Medes and the Persians, their joints was divided. So that they go hand in hand with each other sometimes. Verse 7. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 7. It says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So that's why who's major allies right now? Russia and Iran. And I believe Putin, the president of Russia, I believe he said that, I believe him and China said, but I know Russia for sure, that said that there will be dire consequences if Israel attacks Iran again. Even though they didn't really do nothing last time, but you know, remember, this shit is boiling. And remember, the Lord said what? He's mustering the host of the battle, which is in Isaiah, the 13th chapter. So this is all a doing of Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi. He's doing it how he set it out for it to be done. Yeah, we want this shit to go down. Attack him or attack him again. Attack him forever. Attack him for days. But it's more to that. We still have other things that need to be fulfilled over here. We still need the MOTB to be brought out. The Lord's not gonna put the cart before the horse. And remember that what's that? Second Ezra, it talks about the what's that second Ezra for? It talks about these things should not be stirred until all, like, basically it all goes down the way it's like in order. Like nothing's gonna go out of course as far as the prophecy goes. It's all happening according to Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi. And all these things happen are leading to Yahawah sending Yahawashi back. Okay, so that's what I want to bring out. Hold up. Oh, let me read this article real quick. So yeah, it says Iran Navy dispatches task groups to South Africa as it expands maritime presence. It says, speaking at a gathering of clerics hosted by the Navy on Sunday, which is today, Rear Admiral Shahram Irani said the Islamic Republic is a leading contributor to maritime security in the region and beyond. He emphasized that the deployments reflect the force's growing reliance on domestic capabilities, trans-regional operational experience, and a sustained presence in open waters. According to the commander, one of the fleets has been tasked with escorting commercial vessels, while Fleet 103 is also scheduled to take part in a joint naval exercise with BRICS countries. The R in BRICS, BRICS, the R is for Russia. What did the Lord say? The great company with Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog is what? Russia. And it said naval exercise. So that's military. That's war. He said the participation is in line with directives from leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Syed Ali Khamenei, and aims to strengthen defense and maritime diplomacy. Irani further asserted that Iran's position in the maritime domain has been firmly established, adding that the Navy has become one of the influential players in maritime security in the region and beyond. He also criticized efforts by hostile media to portray Iran as isolated, saying such attempts have failed in the past and will fail in the future. Elsewhere in his remarks, he noted that foreign military commanders acknowledged the role and influence of Iran's leadership. The commander explained that statements by Iran's leader are studied at senior military levels abroad, which he said shows the country's impact on regional and global dynamics. This is that great company. And Iran itself, and what? Ezekiel 38 says what? Persia. Iranians are the Persians. And they're first. When it said Persia, Ethiopia, and then Libya. It says, highlighting the importance of conveying these assessments to military personnel, particularly younger forces in training centers. Irani said Iran's current standing has compelled enemies to recognize its position despite ongoing propaganda campaigns. He also praised recent naval achievements, including missions by the 86th Fleet and the Sahan destroyer, as a product of unity, faith, and adherence to the guidance of the leader. And there you go. That's that great company. So hold on, let's go to the scriptures. Hold up. Isaiah 13. Because it said what? It said even though Israel attacked Iran, but it said what? It said the US, it said the United States joined in. So that's Babylon. That's Babylon the Great. Where is it at? So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1. And it says, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. And I'm going to jump down to verse 4. And it says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. And that's what the Lord is doing right now. He's mustering the hosts of the battle, which is all these heathens. So he's having these heathens get nuclear weapons ready, get their nuclear submarines ready, get all this stuff ready. For it says what? Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. It's simple. It's prophecy. It's all in the prophecy, and it's the YAHWAH BAHASHAM if the Lord has given you understanding. Because it's a very great thing to know and understand. This ain't just like, oh, you know, you understand and that's it, man. No, this is very permanent, pervient, if I'm not saying the word right. This is very important. This is serious business. This is the Lord's business. This is the one true living God's business. This is what it's all about. Prophecy. I'm going to read that in the NLT. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 4, and it reads, hear the noise on the mountains. Listen as the vast armies march. It is the noise and shouting of many nations. The Lord of heaven's armies has called this army together. So the Lord is calling all the nations' armies together. He's calling them all together. For what? That great day that, well, let's go to it. It's Obadiah chapter 1, I think it's verse 15. So it's the book of Isaiah chapter 1, verse 15. It says, this, and the caption reads, it says, the day of the Lord and the future. It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. And what is mainly what you did with oppressing the Israelites? Because remember, this book is about Esau. So what did Esau do along with the other nations? Oppress the Israelites. Oppress Jake. And I'm reading that in the NLT of Obadiah, well, 1 chapter, verse 15. It says, the day is near when I, the Lord, YAHWAH BAHASHAM, will judge all godless nations. He calls them godless nations because what? There is no other God but him. The God of these nations are idols. And they proven that they're idols and they cannot deliver. It said, the day is near when I, the Lord, will judge all godless nations. As you have done to Israel, see how that's the NLT. As you have done to Israel, the Israelites, the real Jews. The ones that's in hardcore slavery it is slavery, hardcore, but not like it was, back in the chattel slavery, but still in captivity to this day. To this day. It said, will judge all godless nations as you have done to Israel, so will be done to you. All your evil deeds will fall back on your own head. So where did people get off talking about the Lord's come back to deliver everybody? He said, all ye godless nations. So every single nation except Israel. And 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed because why? They went in the way of the heathen. They went in the way of godless nations. This is verse 16. It says, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink. So shall all the heathen drink. Continually, yea, they shall drink. And that's gonna be in the kingdom too. Y'all gonna drink that in the kingdom too. It ain't just when the Esau gets destroyed. It's when Esau gets destroyed, America gets destroyed, and then Yahawashi come back, the elect get that power, the glory is given to the Israelites, sanctified in the sight of many nations. Then we're gonna come back and rule over you on the earth forever. That's why he said you gonna continually drink. Now you ain't gonna drink the same portion as Esau, but you're gonna drink the same cup nonetheless. He's gonna have a bigger portion. And they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. So just like it shall be as though they had not been over the Israelites. It's going to be as though you didn't have any chance. It's going to seem like you didn't rule over Jacob. That's how crazy it's about to get. I'm reading that in NLT. So this Obadiah 1:16, it says, just as you swallowed up my people. So what? So the Lord is talking about the oppression of the Israelites. That's still going on to this day. So just as you swallowed up my people on my holy mountain, because what? Our land, for one, look who's in our land right now. Those fucking gutterers, fucking Amalek, in our land, claiming to be us. And it says, on my holy mountain, so you and the surrounding nations. So remember, he's talking about Esau first. So you and the surrounding nations. So Esau and the rest of the heathens, because Esau's ruling right now, this book goes to Esau, directed at Esau, because when you go into the first verse, it says, Obadiah 1:1, it says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord YAHAWASHI concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from an ambassador, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. That's about Esau. That's about these Idumeans. And thou art greatly despised on behalf of who? Amalek. Even to where that your own counterparts, your own fellow E's, your own fellow Dukes despise you. Along with America. America's now they're taking on them being despised from the fucking small hats. Because everybody knows now that the small hats run the American government. The elites are the Amalekites. They run the American government too. They run the banks. They own everything. They own the media. They own the sports shit. They own Hollywood. So where is their oppression at? Where do they need to be delivered from? Anywho. Oh shit. I'm reading this in the NLC. This is Obadiah 1:1. And it says, on the King James Version, the caption reads, Edom will be humbled, because they're definitely prideful as hell. And in this one, in the NLT, it says, Edom's judgment announced. So it's a judgment that hasn't taken place yet against who? The nation of Edom. Well, for who don't know that the Edomites present day are the so-called white people. All right? So this is the book of Obadiah, well, 1 chapter, verse 1. It says, this is NLT, it says, this is the vision that the sovereign Lord, YAHAWASHI, revealed to Obadiah concerning the land of Edom. We have heard a message from the Lord that an ambassador was sent to the nation to say, get ready, everyone. Let's assemble our armies and attack Edom. All these nations are going to come against Esau. And said, the Lord says to Edom, I will cut you down to size among the nations. You will be greatly despised. And that's what's happening right now. You are being greatly despised. Hey, if you're in another country and a so-called white person, you're despised a little bit, especially American. That's what they talk about. Oh, we got to cancel New Year's shit because, it's not safe for the Muslims. That's bullshit. But what about people being safe from you? You make it sound like you're just so innocent. Verse 3, it says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, these skyscrapers, and that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? That's that pride. That's what the Lord said, they shall be humbled. You're going to lose everything real soon, man. You're losing everything now. But soon enough, you're going to actually hit rock bottom. You're not going to have a leg to stand on. You're not going to have a pot to piss in. And that's facts. That's prophecy. And you go to the NLT, it says, you have been deceived by your own pride because you live in a rock fortress and make your home high in the mountains. Who can ever reach us way up here? You ask boastfully. And that's when you hear Trump talk. He talks boastfully. Yeah, we did this and I did this and we did this and I did this and we did this and all this. It's like you could do no wrong. It's like he never says like, yo, I fucked up. We fucked up. It's fucked up right now. Everything is all good. He told us all peace. We want to feel very good. The economy's boom. Created a lot of jobs. Capping. Fucking lying. And what's one of the things the Lord says is abomination to him is a lying tongue and a proud look. And Esau holds and hands that shed innocent blood. And Esau has all those traits to a T. And still running. It ain't stopped yet. He's still in power. But every day he's being willed out of power. But a few more things have to take place. Like most importantly, the MOTB. Ain't much other going down until that comes into play. All right. Verse 4. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord YAHAWASHI. Because we can't bring him down. The Lord gonna bring him down. Hell, the Lord put him up. The Lord put him up there over us. He put him up there over all on the earth. He gave him the fatness of the earth. When you read Job 9:24, it said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who gave it to him? The one true living God gave it to these devils. Remember, it's part of the story. These devils supposed to got a blessing of the fatness of the earth. You go into the book of Genesis. Like the 20-something chapter, 25th to 27th chapter. So this is all. So what's taking place now was written up in Genesis, man. You ever got to think about it? What was written in Genesis is taking place right now. What's that logo? The eagle, right? American Eagle. I'm reading the NLT, Obadiah 1:4. It says, but even if you soar as high as eagles and build your nest among the stars, the heavens and all in the space and all that shit, space programs. It says, I will bring you crashing down, says the Lord, YAHAWASHI. Let me go back to the whatchamacallit, though. So I'm going to go back to verse 15. So, Obadiah, verse 15. It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. And we read that in NLT, it says, the day is near. Oh, the day is near. When I, the Lord, remember this is written back then. So how near is it today? Now, all these prophecies that was written aforetime for our learning are now taking place. And you can't go back in time. Time just continues to move forward. And we're moving forward to where you're going to be out of power soon. So as each day that passes, remember, as the wind blows, so is your rulership about to be. Because you have it now to where like, oh, what is it? It's about to be 2026. You got all this digital ID. You got all this stuff brewing. The World War III, the beast system, the CHIP, the mark of the MOTB. It's all brewing, and it's all going to happen simultaneously. It's all going to complement each other. So as you see more of this war getting more serious, you're going to see what? The MOTB, the digital ID, all this cashless society, you're going to see that get more serious. All these smart cities, all this, the job layoffs, the whole global reset. The global reset is going to be what? To the beast system. So read that, and it said, the day is near when I, the Lord, YAHAWASHI, will judge all godless nations, which are all the heathen, as you have done to Israel. The real Israelites, the descendants of Jacob, not those people in Israel now, because those are the descendants of Esau. It says, so it will be done to you. All your evil deeds will fall back on your own heads. So the Lord said, well, I'm going to judge these heathens. Thus saith the Lord, wait ye upon me till I rise up to the prey, because my determination to gather the nations. And they're going to what? Get the fire of his jealousy, which is what? Those nuclear missiles. Verse 16, it says, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Verse 16 in the NLT of Obadiah, chapter 1, it says, just as you swallowed up my people on my holy mountain. So, and remember that 70 AD too, when they ransacked Jerusalem, these devils, these fucking Idumeans, you got a lot to pay for, boy. So it said, just as you swallowed up my people on my holy mountain, so you and the surrounding nations will swallow the punishment I pour out on you. Yes, all you nations will drink and stagger and disappear from history. So what? Y'all not gonna have no, when as time goes on and this plays out more, y'all gonna be as though y'all had not ruled over the Israelites. And as time goes on and generations pass on and you come back in reincarnation, you're gonna not remember being over the Israelites, and all you're gonna remember is the Israelites being rulers of the earth. That's how it's going to play out. You always remember YAHAWASHI and the Israelites. Like that's the ruling class government on the earth, and it's going to be an everlasting thing. This is not going to end. Remember, this is the world without end. For Esau, the end of the world, Jacob, the beginning of it that followed. The beginning of it that followed is the everlasting kingdom, starting with YAHAWASHI. And he's going to put Jacob, the Israelites, at the top with him, starting with the elect. So you can't get around that. That's not going to change. That's set in stone. Verse 17, it says, but upon Mount Zion shall there be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And in NLT it reads, but Jerusalem will become a refuge for those who escape. It will be a holy place, and the people of Israel will come back to reclaim their inheritance. Which means what? Those are not the people in Israel right now. Because when this takes place, it said the nation shall learn war no more. The Israelite, and remember, where's David at? Where's the Lord? Where's the Messiah? How'd you get back in that land? How did you get back? How did you get that land? You didn't get it through divine intervention. You got it through the Balfour Declaration, which took place in what, the 1940s? In the midst of a war? Remember, the Lord said, when the Israelites get back in war, back in the land of Israel, if the nation learn war no more, that means that YAHAWASHI has ended the wars. That has not happened yet. And you still got this Babylon the Great. So what is America? If y'all the Israelites, what is America according to prophecy? And you don't hear these small heads talking about prophecy, man. They talk about prophecy to fit it like they're the Israelites. But you're fitting to where you're not the Israelites, and that you're the Idumeans that speaks of in Ezekiel the 36th chapter. And you're not going to escape this judgment, man. The Lord said, as you have done to my people Israel, and you drunk upon my holy mountain, they took over the land. They're still in the land as we speak. In the land being a bunch of devils. Acting like they shit don't stink. Acting like they're the descendants of Jacob. Yeah, you're the descendant of Abraham, you're a descendant of Isaac, but you're not the descendants of Jacob. The Lord said the same was confirmed as a law to Jacob, and you're not Jake. You're Amalek. You're of the scum of the earth. That's pretty much it I wanted to bring out. But yeah, man, it's going down. We're in for a doozy, man. We're in for a doozy, man. It's gonna get like that, man. It's gonna get scary. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get blood. It's gonna get all of that, man. The Lord said it should be a time like no other. No, like time no other before, and a time that's gonna happen after is gonna be like what we're living in right now, the last days. And it's about to be on. So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HaKadosh. Double honors to the powers of Israel, aka the powers of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.